So welcome to District 4, the best place to be for information and news. Every time I go live, you catch me doing something crazy. So we are talking politics and updates. And I decided to do it live because, it's we haven't been around in a while, but also to introduce you to the news section. We're gonna talk politics. We're gonna talk political structure. We know we have elections coming up, some of them as early as next week, and of course we have the main, presidential elections coming up. Trying to do cameras, so it might look a little crazy, but I wanted to give you a few minutes to come in. Nobody was pretty much prepared for that, so you can always watch the tape later. But for those of you that are there and available, welcome. Give you a few minutes. Okay, so we begin by posing a question. And I like to do this in politics because it usually affects everybody, right? So I wanted to talk about surveillance, right? Is it right to do surveillance? And how much do you get to do on a political candidate? I mean, it's a question you gotta ask yourself. How far do we go into their private lives? And how much of an effect on that is it on your voting? I mean, some people are gonna just be like, okay, Democrat, I'm voting. And then you have some people that are gonna be like, oh, Republican, I'm voting. But does that mean you agree with the issues? Does that mean that that candidate is a good candidate? Now, the question is always posed because we go so far into political candidates' personal lives that it could be deemed as too much. It is also something we don't want for ourselves. All of a sudden, you feel like it's okay to go into maybe Donald Trump's personal finances, for example. And you're like, hey, he's running the country. I'm not. He's a bigger, name than I am. So therefore, when you get into a public life, you're asking for it. And some people are like, yeah, but I wouldn't want that for myself. So you have to ask yourself, how much does that weigh on the issue? I mean, let's take yourself, for example. If you were doing your job, how far would you want people to go into your personal life to see whether or not you could do it? I mean, think about that. Because these are just some of the issues we're going to cover. When you're covering these types of subjects, they're a little sensitive. So I'm already prepared for the sensitivity of the subject. I myself personally have already been under scrutiny just from having this YouTube channel, right? But the problem is when you go into someone's personal, a political party's personal life, or any person, even such as yourself, just to look for the qualifications of a job, you may be going too far, right? So you gotta ask yourself that question, how far do you go? And then ask yourself, how much of an impact does it go on your voting, or are you just listening to somebody's personal story, right? Because if you're a Democrat and you're just gonna vote Democrat no matter who's the candidate, why do you need to know all this much about, I don't wanna call out anybody, but let's just say in the past, Monica Lewinsky, for example. Okay, he was doing that in the White House, maybe a little extra, but if you're a new candidate, for example, and you're running for office, does that mean you can't do the job because you, have some sort of, sorted details or something? I'm trying to think of something, but I want to really pose a question because I want people to think about it. We're gonna vote soon. Some of you just as early as next week. And some of you really should be thinking about it because we have to start, as we do on District 4, challenging some of these, quote unquote norms, or what has become our norm, or what we have allowed ourselves to become. And it plays a part in political structure, it plays a part in every structure. Because since COVID-19, things have slowed down. Now, update on taking it away a little bit on another subject we're gonna cover. We're gonna cover how COVID has affected the business community. I saw a special, Resignation Nation. I don't think it was specifically called that, but it was about how most people have quit their jobs since COVID. Are you smart as a business owner to go back to that same structure, or do you need to acknowledge that there's something new happening? You see? Because we want to pose these questions. And it's important because if I'm going to cover a section on politics, right, we want to be able to cover things that we know are going to jog you. The whole point of District 4, and part of this is going into updates, is to just challenge the norms. I'm not trying to be rebellious, but I just want to bring to the attention sometimes how far we've gone and how little it applies to, what we've allowed ourselves to become as a country, right? In the world, period, but as a country. So I wanted to cover that. Also, we will be doing more sports. We will be doing trials. I know we were going to cover Ahmaud Arbery, and that's actually still, they're looking for jurors in that particular case. Just give you an update on that before they start the actual trial. And we will be doing more finances. Got in a little bit of trouble about that one. Yeah, because it's good, it's excellent advice. I have used it for business, okay? Community Nest Foundation, for example, is one of the companies that I work for. I was a director of development for other places, so I didn't make that up. It's the truth, right? So I just wanted to, and I understand people ask those questions because they, you don't know me yet. But yes, that is actually another section. We are going to cover some things on that and do a little bit about that. Any other updates? Yeah, so I'm excited about the politics. This is going to be a good one because we have so much coming up, and I'm looking forward to covering it. As usual, we will make sure our information is as accurate as it can be. If I have to do good research, I will do good research just to bring you the latest in information. We're still going to cover, like I said, this COVID one is interesting because I keep seeing the business structure change. And any type of change, people resist. You still see business owners, no disrespect to those of you that are resistant to changing the model. People realize you could do a lot away from the office and still put more time into your family, right? Because the world slowed down at some point. Is it wise? Ask yourself the question. To continue on the way that you have been? Or is it more profitable for you to move forward and maybe try something new? People think of this time, this turbulent time, this time of change. I myself have had trouble adjusting to the changes, to the scrutiny, to the, just the way that the world has become now. But I see it, and hopefully in introducing these sections, as an opportunity to grow, even for myself, to change, to develop, to be a better person, and to make the world, as corny as it sounds, a better place. Are you using technology the way that it should be used? Are you voting the way that you should be voting? Are you, turning yourself into something you shouldn't be? Because that's not, it's time to reevaluate. And so we're going to open up this political section because it's such a sensitive subject, and I want to hopefully touch some people and maybe explain things like I always do in a way that's different, right? I like to share what I've learned. So stay tuned. We haven't been taping as much lately. There has been a lot going on, like I said, but I will always come back to it. I think this station is important, and I feel like we have something to say. And for those of you that miss A-Rod, he will be back. He has other things to do as well. But so thank you so much for the support that you have given me, and for those people that don't support us, I love you, but there's nothing I can do about that. And share, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for this political section. I'm getting excited about that. We're going to do a lot of thorough research, and we're going to make sure, we challenge a few things, a few laws, a few, not too much. We won't make too many waves, but just a few. All right, so thank you so much. And this one wasn't going to be that long, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.